My name is Michael Ariano, and this is my APUSH project.
Much of World War II can be traced from the decisions made at the end of World War I. The Germans ousted the Kaiser and became a republic, but they went into a deep depression as a nation. Germany's economy collapsed, currency was worthless. Amidst this chaos, an Austrian politician would rise up to give the nation hope. His name was Adolf Hitler. Hitler was a fascist and became the leader of the National Socialist Party, or the Nazi Party, in Germany. He promised the people of Germany that they could once again be the great and powerful empire they once were, and even bigger. Germany allied themselves with the ambitious nation of Japan, as well as finding allies in the fascist state of Italy, led by Mussolini, and thus formed what became known as the Axis powers. 1st of September 1939, Hitler invaded Poland, forcing Britain to declare war on Germany. The German invasion of Poland was swift, using a very effective tactic called blitzkrieg, lightning warfare, which made deep, fast attacks with tanks and bombers, followed by the soldiers to secure the area. Hitler had an agreement with Joseph Stalin, the leader of the Soviet Union, that he would not invade Russia so long as they kept out of the war. This truce wasn't to last, as both men had nothing but contempt for each other's ideals. Eventually, Hitler decided to invade Russia, and the first few months of the campaign were hugely successful for the Germans. They killed and starved millions of Russians as they pushed deep into Russia. Russia was to lose over 20 million people in this war, the most of any nation. Though ultimately only miles from Moscow, it was the winter that doomed the Germans. They weren't ready for the extreme cold. On the 7th of December 1941, they led a surprise attack on the American Navy base at Pearl Harbor. June 6, 1944 was D-Day for the Allies, as they made a massive landing of troops in Normandy. They fought their way into France and eventually secured their position. Paris had been liberated. The Nazis had been rounding up Jews and other ethnic minorities and exterminating them in death camps. In what became known as Germany's final solution, they sought to obliterate the Jewish population of Europe. 6 million Jews were murdered in what became known as the Holocaust. The most infamous concentration camp, Auschwitz, became a custom-built death factory of gas chambers and furnaces. The Allies liberated the survivors. The Allied leaders Churchill, Roosevelt and Stalin met in Crimea to plan for the future of Europe. The Allies closed in on Germany from all directions. It was Russia who reached Berlin first, and in the late afternoon of the 30th of April 1945, Hitler shot himself. The United States was still fighting a war against Japan across the Pacific Ocean. They had been preparing an invasion of Japan when the scientists had finished developing their secret weapon that was supposed to be used against the Germans. It was an atomic bomb. August 6, 1945, the Americans dropped an atomic bomb on the city of Hiroshima. The city center was flattened and people were vaporized. America dropped another atomic bomb on Nagasaki. Days later, the Japanese surrendered, ending the Second World War.
Our story begins in a small town in Poland. The village was teeming with life. Each person held a specific job to improve and support its community. The farmers grew crops to provide food for its town and also farmed animals. Those animals were then slaughtered and sent off as meat products and also hide. The hide was then manufactured into clothing brands to be sold in the area. The low-class villagers would then take in jobs to provide food and support for their own families in order to survive. Every now and then the town would gather up at the church where they would practice Judaism. Judaism is the ethnic religion of the Jewish people of Poland. The town was filled with peace at the time, where anybody could do anything they have wanted and not be bothered by anybody, up until that day that happened and ruined everything. September 1st, 1939, Poland. Hitler launched his attack on Poland, invading the villages and capturing the Jews. Their plans were quick and swift, like wasps slaughtering a beehive under a day. As the Nazis invaded, the Jews fled into their homes, seeking protection. The attacks were non-stop, and all the Jews could do was pray. Once huddled together, the Nazis set them off into the train tracks onto cattle carts, where they were shipped off and never seen again. The Jews were trapped in the carts, moving towards their new homes in the concentration camps. Night and day, the Jews starved and huddled together through the cold, frigid temperatures for warmth. Once they arrived, the Jews were separated into groups, men, women, and children, but one camp was the most notorious of them all, named Auschwitz, a death camp for the Jews. Meanwhile, in orbiting northern France, Omaha Beach.
Stormed the beaches of Normandy we did. Big slaughtered like cattle we are.
There he is! Shoot the green one!
No, shoot me you must not. A family I have.
Auschwitz, one of the very few death camps located in Germany during World War II. Here is places where the Germans slept over the nights, taking care of the inmates in Auschwitz while they slept here, hearing the screams of the Jews. Here is one of the 4 watchtowers guarding Auschwitz. These bungalows were housings for the Jews kept in Auschwitz during their sentence to death during World War II. These pits hold the dead bodies of Jews in Auschwitz. These rooms held in front of your faces were one of the very few rooms for the cremation of the Jews in Auschwitz. As seen here, Jews were murdered in cages, then dumped into the pits after cremation. And these were the gas chambers in Auschwitz that suffocated the Jews.
Moments during Russia's attack on Berlin.
I am inevitable.